Hey guys, how are you today? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day because I haven't had a wonderful week or last couple weeks or really last year. 2020, 2021 has been quite not what I expected it to be. And there are quite a few of you who do know. I've mentioned in many of my videos already through the last few months that earlier this year, on March 1st, my mom did pass away from cancer. And I have some more news. A few weeks ago, on August 20th, my dad passed away from cancer. This is a video that I knew I had to do. It felt right. It felt wrong to continue doing these videos of mine without you guys knowing what was actually happening behind the scenes of my life. My dad did pass away on August 20th, and he was 65 years old. And the funeral for not just my dad, but my mom as well, was this past weekend. So it was a dual funeral for both my dad and my mom. These last couple years have been so difficult for so many people, not just myself. I started the year 2020 off by being laid off from my job, which no one likes. And then soon after that, my mom told me about her cancer diagnosis in February of last year. And then in March of last year, I turned 30 years old. And then COVID happened, the pandemic. So it was just one hit after another, and the punches kept coming. And this past Christmas, this past holiday season, December of 2020, and January and February and March of 2021 were some of the darkest months of my life. In particular, Christmas of 2020, December. I was able to go out and spend Christmas with my mom and my sister during the height of my mom's decline. And we all knew, even though we didn't say it, we all knew that it would most likely be the last Christmas we would share together. But I gotta say, thank you to YouTube for keeping me sane. And I think those months would have been a lot darker if YouTube wasn't in my life. It very much kept me distracted for just a few hours when I was recording and even editing. And it was something that gave me peace. It was that shining light, whatever you want to call it, during this time of darkness in my life. So Christmas came and went, and then January came along, February came along, and then March 1st, my 31st birthday, was the day my mom passed away from cancer at the age of 63. My mom's cancer diagnosis was very much unexpected. She was the last person I was expecting to get cancer. She was so health conscious. She exercised. She loved to garden. She loved to bake and cook. And she was so content with where she was in life. And it just didn't make sense. And cancer doesn't care. Cancer doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care. I was almost in a state of delusion. And I just assumed she would get through it. And I didn't take it as seriously as I thought I would. She said she would go on chemo, there were treatments, and none of the treatments work. They did a little bit initially, but she had a very aggressive cancer. On the other hand, my dad's diagnosis was very much expected. Unlike my mom, my dad was the complete opposite. He wasn't very healthy to begin with, and his diagnosis and his decline was expected. But just because it was expected doesn't mean it didn't hit me hard, because it did. So both my parents did pass away within 6 months of each other. And this year marks their 40th wedding anniversary. Now, they did divorce. I don't recall the exact year. It was sometime during the early 2000s decade. 2002, 3, somewhere around there. I don't recall the exact year. So my parents were divorced for at least 20 years. And even though they did divorce, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it wasn't an easy divorce. It was quite ugly. But I'm sick of focusing on that, and I'm sick of reminding myself of that moment, because it was a big moment in all our lives. But I want to focus on the first 10 to 15 years of their marriage, because there's a reason people get married. More often than not, people marry because they love each other. And that's why they got married, because they loved each other. And there were 10 to 15 years of happy, loving memories. And that's what I want to remember. Now, for those of you who do follow me on Instagram, you will know all of this already, because I have left stories on my Instagram stories regarding the funeral and my mom's death and my dad's death. I've posted things. I've also mentioned it in some of my videos, various videos throughout the last few months as well. And I would like to at least show you guys what my parents look like. I feel like I want to be able to put a face to my parents. I don't want to just say, well, my dad died, my mom died. I want you guys to be able to actually have a visual of what they looked like. So this is one of my favorite pictures of my mom. It was taken about 20 years ago when she was working in a department store. And I mean, gorgeous. Now, my mom, of course, loved baking and cooking and gardening, but one thing she always also loved was fashion. Her wardrobe was beautiful, gorgeous, and she was always immaculate wherever she went, to the grocery store, anywhere. She always had to have her makeup on, her hair done, and she always looked stunning in whatever she wore. And I like to think that's why I like fashion so much. That's why I dress up so much in my videos. I'm coming to realize that it actually didn't hit me until today. The reason I dress up, I wear the bow ties, I wear the vests. I mean, I don't just dress up for my YouTube videos. I like to dress up to go to the grocery store and to the mall. I like dressing up. It's what I like to do. And it didn't hit me until today. One of the reasons is because probably of my mom. I mean, she was definitely an influencer. I mean, she passed away at the age of 63, but she was an influencer. She really was. And this is my dad right here. This picture was taken in 1981 on his wedding day with my mother. So he was 24 years old in this picture. And I gotta say, I mean, he looks like a movie star. And this past weekend at my parents' funeral, I can't tell you how many people said he looks like a movie star. He really did. So I like to think that I have both spectrums of my parents. My mom and my dad. The tenderness of my mom, but also the no bullshit attitude of my dad, the hardness of my dad, and the toughness of my dad. And both of those combined come together, and you get me. And that was one of the last things I told both of them before they passed away. The last conversation I had with my mom was over the phone. This was a few days before she passed, and I told her I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for you. And that was the greatest gift you could have given me, because I'm so happy with the man I am today. And the last thing I told my dad before he passed, on the day he passed, when I went to see him, was, I also wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for you. And once again, I'm so happy with the man I have become. So I wanted to give you guys that update on my life. I felt like I had to. It was necessary. I couldn't keep doing this channel without informing you guys about this very prominent moment that has occurred in my life. I do want to end this video by saying that I am doing well. I'm fine. The worst of it is over, I feel like. This past weekend's funeral for both my mom and dad was a sense of closure for me, but it will be many years of healing. I also want to say thank you to everyone who reached out to me on Instagram and even YouTube comments on my videos where I've mentioned what happened to my mom, and I don't think I mentioned my dad's passing in any of my videos yet, but I did for sure my mom. And thank you for all your condolences and your thoughts and prayers. It helps, it really does. I also want to say that yes, I will continue to do YouTube videos because I love doing them so much. They bring me so much thrill and joy, and I just get so excited to record each and every video that I upload. This really is a big turning point in my life. Not only am I entering my 30s, but I'm entering my 30s without a job and without my parents, and just the world is my oyster, I guess, and I'm just so excited for what the coming years and decade has in store for me. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have ideas of what I want to happen, and you better believe it will happen, because whatever I want, I get. I'm just a firm believer in that. It might not happen tomorrow, it might not happen next year, but eventually, if you work hard enough, if you want it, if you really, really want it, you will get it. Take care.